tactile sensations wandering in a sea of memories slide down the folds of words. Or a sweet tremor, which we were sure to have felt in the past, is absorbed into the fault line of time and dissipates. It is like the moment when an illusion etched on the skin unexpectedly loses its outline and peels off. What was once pulsating is now buried in mere silence. Countless fragments intertwine, becoming pulseless dots that call to mind. Traces of what once was, the temperature of what once was. But the more we try to recall them, the more they break into pieces and become foreign. The more one tries to recall, the more the memory fades into abstraction, and the more sensuality loses its form. Beyond the blocked recollection, there remains only the disappearance of meaning and pure impulse. Words try to hold together the reverberations of the senses, but even their echoes are cut off, scattered, and finally converge on an invisible point. Nothing is there, or there is everything. The sensuality, which has lost its outline, calls and seeks again, even though it is no longer sensuality but a new form of existence while it is dissipated. It is reduced to 1 or 2 minute bubbles while being pulled by the inertia of the sense of sight. The reverberation of the act once called touch now becomes a swell of frequency that cannot reach the fingertips, gently scraping the contours of existence from the outer edges. Sensuality is divided. Connections without any synonyms are severed, and memories of pleasure that were once the same fly away with different trajectories. The moment of sweetness melting on the tongue is transformed into bitterness the next moment, and the remnants are inverted into a cage of pleasure. When the door of memory closes, the tactile sensation of the past is exiled to the realm of ideas. Recall ripples in the cracks between the cracks, diluting perception to excess. Desire dissipates and fragmented sensual symbols no longer call to each other, but are enclosed in individual silences. Still, the reverberations lurking in the back of the brain creak faintly in a corner of the night. This faint sound is nostalgia for the untouchable. At that moment, the senses are separated and only the reverberations of perception seep into the bare space. Fragments of sweetness dissolve and lose their arrangement like mathematical formulas. The sense of smell holds remnants of the past, and sight forgets the light. Echoes spiral in the depths of our ears and untouchable hands caress a formless heat. But they are never united. The sensuality that dissipates rejects the possibility of connection and remains apart, the blocking of recall. It is an act that seals the vertigo of the past and exposes the loneliness of the present. Even silence vibrates secretly, not as a lack of sound, but as an omen pregnant with resonance. Fragments of sleep scatter on the windowsill. Remnants of the senses dance in the void. Behind closed eyelids, the phantom that caresses the back of the brain. The memory abandons the shadow in an attempt to waver. However, it is decomposed each time it is invoked, and disappears into the folds of silence without obtaining a name. The recollection that has been cut off still wanders. The rhythms lurking in the depths of the body, the slight heat remaining in the fingertips, they emerge as symbols, but they disintegrate before they are entangled in the web of meaning. Memory refuses continuity. The blocking of recall drives the dissipating sensuality to something purer. The untouchable touches more deeply. Fragments of smoldering memories are like shadow pictures that have fallen into the gulf of time. Already fragmented tactile sensations, reverberations of voices clad in vague outlines, phantoms of nameless sense. We can only feel the tremor in front of it, the vague heat as an unspoken premonition. Memories mutate each time they are recalled. Something that can never be possessed but can only be called upon. Countless fragments reflect off each other, as if paradoxically blocking out the recall that is supposed to evoke a dream or a fever that has passed away. And without retaining any of their temperature, they simply move away from each other. All the senses in the world are like fragile bubbles floating in a gravity-defying space, diffusing from each other and refusing to come together again. Like jewels in a sea of memories, the afterimage of sensuality silently and decisively breaks off the memory of the moments of frenzy and passion it once held. Behind the pulsating moment, an inexpressible illusion drifts in the background, waging a secret battle against the contradictions of existence. In the smooth flow of time, sensuality dares to disperse its emotions and becomes a freezing wind that firmly closes the door of memories to be evoked.